Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick recap of the trade I took last week Friday and a trade that I missed this morning on Monday. And well, this recap is like a reminder to me, and it's a kind of video that I make to remind myself of what I did in the past and where I could adjust. And this is a way for me to learn. So if this is a video you like to watch, then feel free to watch to the end. But if it is not something you want, then feel free to go to the next video or the next possible video. So, but today I'm going to be starting with the last week trade that I took. That is the trade that I took on Friday, and I got out at break even, although I partialed out some profit before it went break even, and I will show you how I got into the trade. So let me just head back to my daily time frame. So if I go back to my daily time frame, one day on the daily time frame here, you will see something here. So coming down to one daily time frame, you will notice that I drew this line at the extreme end of this trial, this candlestick, and this is because this is the low on a weekly time frame. So if we go back to daily time frame here to the recent date, you will notice something here. Let me show you. You'll notice something around this place. There is this candlestick, this last one it should be on Thursday. So this candlestick, I was expecting the markets to come down and sweep it, but this, because of the movement that the market has been playing since, there has been a long push to the downside. So I was expecting like at least there should be a little pullback, even if it's small, before it goes and clear this downside liquidity, then move to this down one to clear it as well, because this is a weak low on a weekly time frame. So let me just go through again. Let me just go through and switch to my 4-hour time frame so you will understand. So coming down to 4-hour time frame here, you will see that I picked out a zone. I picked out a zone, and why I picked out this zone is because I want to have a clear range. That is, I picked out a range. So the range was, I used my Fibonacci tool, because this range coming from this place down to this level, I don't expect the market to come and retrace to 50% of this whole range. That is from this range to this range. I don't expect the market to retrace to the 50% of this range, although it might retrace, but it's unlikely. So I just had to pick the nearest range for me, and this was the nearest range. So I picked it and figured out the 50% level here, which is the 50% zone. And luckily for me, there was that is how the market operates most of the time. You will always see supply or demand zone around 50% of the Fibonacci tool. Some traders do trade only this Fibonacci level. So coming down to this 50% zone on 4-hour time frame, I switched down to my 15-minute time frame to filter out the supply zone out of that 4-hour time frame. So coming down to the 4-hour time frame, oh shit, man. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame, you will see that I took a loss around this place. Yeah, I took a loss, and here is why I took the loss. Although I marked out this supply zone, but I was seeing something that is like a little bit interesting to me. First, I was seeing this liquidity around this place, and this time I've woken up to be, each time should be around London session, or yeah, this should be Asian session. Let me see. I woke up around 8. So the market was ranging. This is from here to this place to this was New York's Asian session. So from this place was London session, which is the time I usually wake up. So at the time I was waking up, this London session was about to tap into the supply zone, and luckily you can see that let me see. According to my analysis here, there was a ton of liquidity around this place. So being that there was a ton of liquidity around this place, I saw this sweep to the upside, which swept some of the liquidity around this place, then went down to break this candlestick below. Although it broke with wick, but didn't actually break with low body candle. I took this as an option, like to go for this trade, because I don't know what to expect. Because this is Forex market, you don't really know what to expect, but you just have to trust your edge. So immediately it tapped into my supply zone here. I went down to my 1 minute time frame to filter out my entry criteria. Let me just see if I can replay this. Let me just give me a moment. Let me see if I can replay it. Where's my bar replay to? And this is my bar replay too. So immediately it tapped me into this zone. As you can see from my area, mapped area, I went down to my 1 minute time frame, which is this place. Okay, and you can see the candlestick is still showing, which is this place. So I waited for it to yeah, just give me a moment. Let me enlarge it so you would see it clearly. So I waited for it to go down and break this flow, which is the one that actually caused some of the sweep of these two structures to the upside. So I took this as my first change of character. I was not satisfied, so I had to wait for a second one again. Then it went up, mitigated this supply zone around this particular supply zone. Let me just draw it out so it will be clear. It mitigated this particular supply zone. Then I was expecting it to come down again, break this structure, then come back to enter. This is like double confirmation entry. So that is it. I waited for it to come back again to break that second structure. It did come back to break the second structure again. And this was the time I said, okay, time to enter this trade. You can see before I picked this, I picked multiple. I waited for 2 entry confirmation because this area, although I labeled it as what I was not too sure of it, so I had to wait for 2 confirmation entries. So on getting to this place, I got in and boom, I was kicked out of the market like very, very fast. I used this supply zone to, yeah, this was the supply zone I used and had my stop loss, like always 3 pip stop loss. And boom, it took me out at once. I was like, okay, very good. I went back to my 15-minute yes, it was 15 minutes time frame. I went back to my 15 minutes time frame and looked for and set my alert again back to this spot. This was the 15 minutes time, let me say the 4-hour demand zone that is at the Fibonacci 50% Fibonacci retracement level. So I filtered it down to 15 minutes. So on getting to this place, I waited and I set my alert and boom, my alert triggered. I was like, okay, very nice. Okay. Once my alert triggered, I went down to my 1 minute time frame to see if I can get something. And luckily for me, there is still something for me out here. Some people would have waited for 15 minutes check, but sometimes this is not necessary. Depending market experience is what you get over time. It's not something you rush. So once you get it, you will definitely get it. So on getting to this point, I noticed that okay, that it has tapped in my my supply zone here and giving me a V-shaped recovery, which is a very aggressive recovery. Sometimes we use it. Then I noticed that because there was no sweep to the upside again, to clear this reaction area or the reaction zone. I was like, okay, let me take this extreme. I was waiting for it to come to this extreme, like waiting for it at least to come to the middle before I set my sell limit, because you don't know what might happen next. So at this time, as I was waiting, I noticed that this area is like trying to create some inducement. I was like, okay, one of my criteria is that once an area creates inducement, and which is something I missed out today, I would use the nearest supply or demand zone as my entry level. So on getting to that, I was like, okay, very good. I set my sell limit around this place with 3 pip stop loss as usual. Yeah, 3 pip stop loss. Let me see. This is 2.9, but it's around 3 pip stop loss. So I set it around this place and I was waiting for it to come in and trigger me, and just took some time. It took a little bit and it came in and triggered me in perfectly. I don't know what I was doing at this time, but maybe I was editing one of my blog posts or something like that, because I'm a blogger too and I am a student. I do all this stuff just to earn a means of livelihood. And this recap is just to teach you, if you are really interested to know how I do things. And this is just a journal to me, like I said in my first video. So on getting to this point, I was waiting for it to come to this side, so I will break even, and it came it tapped that place multiple times, and I went to break even to put my entry at this spot. So I don't have screenshot of it, this trade, but I do have a video of it. Maybe I will attach it to this video. I don't know. But one thing I noticed there is that notice here is that this place has had multiple inducements. So this was a very, very clear confirmation for me to use this supply zone as an entry area. So that was how I got into this trade. So during New York session, this was, let me see, where is my tools? During close of London session, which is around 12 o'clock in my own time, 12 o'clock, I partialed out 50% of my position because I was expecting it to go down more than that. I don't want to close the whole position, so I partialed out at 50%, and this was 12 o'clock exactly. So my entry was going down to this way. As at 12 o'clock, I forgot that I had trade open, which is a mistake, and sometimes it went in my favor actually. Although because I've broken even, that's why I forgot this trade. So I waited, and it was around 12:14 or so. Yeah, around 12:14, my trade got down to this level. Around this level, it was around this level that I partialed out some profits. Around this level, that is 50%, and left the rest to run. And it was at break even. Then unfortunately for this trade, during New York session, open of New York session, trade went back to the entry area, and trade guard put me out of the trade and went all the way down as I was anticipating. I was anticipating for it to go at least down to this level, to this area that I got swept out initially, and it entered during New York session and went all the way down to that level, and that was how I missed this trade. You can see that was how I missed this trade. Although I've partialed 50% at 7 hours, so I don't know, around this place, and that was how I ended the week with yeah, and I'm sure I ended the week with 3 hours. I don't trade. This is the only trade I took out throughout last week. So coming back to Monday this morning, I came back to my 15 minutes time frame. Let me just zoom this out. I came back to my 15 minutes time frame. Let me zoom this out so you can see it clearly. Came back to my 15 minutes time frame this morning, and I saw this tap. Like, there is this chain that is already forming from last week. I didn't claim my chart because my chart was still neat, so I just have to leave it like that. So coming back to 15 minutes time frame, I noticed that there is this chain that is forming here, and there's this inducement that has just been swept, and price reacted massively to the downside. I was like, okay, time to go. I went down to my 1 minute time frame, and I saw this thing here. Just give me a moment. This trade, I will explain, and I missed this trade. This was exactly the same type of trade I took last week, but because I had some mixed feeling about this trade, and because it was on a lower level, I missed the trade. So coming down to the 1 minute time frame, after it tapped into the supplies on 15 minute supplies, and I waited for it to react and come back, and it reacted and broke my structure, like this structure. Let me zoom it out so you can see it clearly. It broke this structure. Immediately it broke this structure to the downside. I saw that this one, before it broke this structure, it went up to sweep liquidity around this upside. Then I took that extreme edge to be my entry. I set my my limit around, you can see it from the end here, around this place. You can see it here. I set my limit around the entry of this place, or the edge of this place, then with 3 pips stop loss as usual. But as I was still watching the chart when I saw this this whole area, like this whole area giving me, let me see, inducement. This whole area giving me that liquidity vibe. I was like, okay, let me take this trade, but I was still having mixed feeling because this area has not been mitigated yet, which is something I will keep in mind in case of next time I'm coming back to watch this video. So this area has not been mitigated. So why should I take a trade in this place? I was like, okay, let me leave it. Maybe it will use this place as inducement to and come back to this top, and that would be a perfect entry for me. I was like, I won't set my entry or my set limit there. So I just left it, and boom. You can see just like the other week, like on Friday, it came exactly the same thing, caused some liquidity around, created some liquidity around this place. Immediately it created some liquidity. The next thing, it went and tapped into the flip zone. This is the flip zone. This is the whole demand zone that caused this tap to the supply zone. So it's reacted, it reacted again, and then after some much reaction, it finally broke. And this was the last reaction before it broke. So it's a flip zone. So immediately I saw this liquidity and the flip zone, I didn't set limit because I was expecting the market to come back to this place. And that was how I missed this morning trade. This morning trade, which resulted, it's now, I wanted to target at least 10 hours because 10 hours is my main target for the day, which is enough for me. So this is 10 hours. I wanted to target 10 hours, and you can see it just took only the London session to get this 10 hours, and that was it. But I was a little bit pissed off that I missed this trade, but seriously, this is trading you learn with experience, and I really think I'm learning and developing day after day. This video is just a journal for myself. I don't think, I don't know, or I know possibly some people might find this very helpful. If you find it very helpful, then do well to hit that like button, and please don't forget to subscribe, because this is the smart money concepts. Like, this is the smart money way of trading, and some people, there is advanced learning to it. I studied at Phantom Trading Academy, and that academy was really good to me. They were like good, very, very good. Just that you have to settle down and find a way for yourself. I left the academy last year, and was a few months ago. Why? Because I was a little bit ill, so I can't afford renewing the bills or the monthly payment while I'm still not watching the video. So I just had to end the program and start trading by myself. And seriously, I don't regret taking that action. You too, you can join, but it's not for beginners. It's not beginner friendly. Just a quick disclaimer: if you are a beginner to forex trading, don't go near there, because you will just waste your money. So you should just have at least basic understanding of forex trading before, or even support and resistance level before you get to that Phantom Trading Academy. It costs around 86 or it's something dollars. I can't remember the last time I was paying 80 something dollars, which was approximately 40,000 naira here in Nigeria for per month. Yeah, and that was my best Christmas gift that I gifted myself. I paid till February or March, I don't know, just 3 months or so before I felt ill. And trading was one of my major problems. It caused my illness. So just take things easy, slow, and steady. And that's all for this video. I don't know what else to say, but if you are trading or learning how to trade, keep it up. It will definitely pay up one day. Just don't lose hope. Hope to see you in my next video, and please don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and make sure to share with friends you think will need this video. Have a nice day.